Oh, hello everybody. Hello Nichka.
Hello.
Welcome to the archive. As I titled today, an archive of our own. How are you, Nichka? Happy New Year, happy 2021. we can
turn the page.
and wishes that it can only be better
Yes.
than the past year. First of all, I wish to thank you for your time and for this connection, and thank you to our friends, to the friends that are online and will stay with us, hopefully for a while, to listen to our conversation. Let me introduce Nichka Marobin. First of all, Nichka is an art addicted, if I may say it. That is to say, that is my essential partner in crime, since she is an art historian, but also a writer, a curator, and a collector of contemporary jewelry. And it is also the founder of the Morning Bark, the blog gazette about art and humanities, blogging and networking on literature, on fashion, costume. And we met years ago, thanks to the AGC, the Italian Association for Contemporary Jewelry. And so that's why Nichka is my perfect companion to start a conversation with. And we started a few weeks ago, a nice flight, browsing some of the books that we like more from our shelves. But really from your shelf, that is really, especially for your shelf, that is really full of treasures. We did it in Italian, and today we are happy to add something more for our English-speaking friends. Your followers, you can write your comments in the chat, and we'll be glad to share them at the end of the speech. Of course, the subjects are connected to what we are passionate. Jewelry, first of all, but not only. We would like to talk and investigate around a special atmosphere we are still looking for. You, Nichka, suggested few steps into the past to find out the origin of that word, Le Monde, such as the one described by a very inspiring Italian writer. I'm talking about Benedetta Craveri, that I started new thanks to your suggestions. So I leave to you how to enter our blue archive and Le Monde, where conversation gained such a specific role. So thank you, Nichka, once again to introduce us.
Well, I have to thank everybody, and you especially, for inviting me. It is really a great pleasure. And a really a nice opportunity and a chance to talk about the things we love so much, as contemporary jewelry and books and reading. So I would like to talk about and to start talking about this kind of long journey from the 17th century to the contemporary jewelry. And you pronounced the word monde. Monde was a kind of in French, of course, because our conversation, yes, because our conversation will start. I mean, I would like to talk about a sort of constellation of women that were a sort of catalysts of new solicitations um, of time renewals. They were like a seismograph of time, and whose acts and the things they made were in a sort of inaugural acts to that changed completely and in a way start a sort of renewal. And we entitled this kind of our conversation the Blue Archive, because I want you to introduce in a special room. It was the Blue Room, and it was the room of in which Madame de Rambouillet in 1618 opened her bedroom. It was a special bedroom because it was everything was painted in blue, and the surface was upholstered in blue brocade, and also the walls were hung with silk brocade and embroidered with silver and gold threads. So everything was blue, and it was a sort of breaking act. She broke completely the conventions, because she, in a way, started to open a different world. She, in a world apart, actually, by retreating herself from the court, from the Valois court and the Valois Bourbon court. That was the one of Maria de Medici and Henry IV of France. So she paradoxically, this act of retreating herself from the court, the life of court, and opening something that was extremely how can I say, extremely little as a bedroom, and she really inaugurated something new. She inaugurated, as Benedetta Craveri states in her book, what we call the age of conversation, because in that blue room, the nobility of the noble women of the time, they used to speak about books. They spoke about gallantry. It was a really she inaugurated what is called a worldly society, and it was a really an important revolution, because she created a sort of ideal, an ideal world, really a world apart. And I think she is one of the most important women of the time, and she was a patroness in a wonderful house that was near the Louvre, in Rue Saint-Thomas du Louvre. Probably we have an image. She was the only one in Paris who had a wonderful garden before, where she could go and walk in and take a walk. And also she drove by herself the project of the entire palais. And when she decided to renew everything, and we know by Madame d'Escudéry, who is one of the guests that were always at the Blue Room, who were always invited at the Blue Room, that she wanted to create something different, where there was a sort of perennial spring over there, where everything was completely full of light and full of beauty.
So something completely different from what the
what was
society
the brutality? I mean, yes, she decided to retreat for the court because she found that life at court was, in a way, a sort of brutality. I mean, we have to think that outside this gallant world of Madame, created by Madame de Rambouillet, nobility, I mean, didn't cease to seduce, to kill, to or to do whatever they do in the manner they did it. But anyway, she created something new, and what is extremely important is that she was really a catalyst for a sort of renewal, a renewal of manners, a renewal of conversation, a renewal of language. This group, this gathering of people, they call themselves précieuses. The term précieuse, which means in English we can translate it as preciousness. It refers to that kind of conversation, which was really gallant, was really amusing. They question about love, about manners also. And one thing that really, that was really interesting for me is the kind of how this concept of preciousness from the literary world came to our field of interest. Madame de Rambouillet opened her blue room we know that in 1620 the Hôtel de Rambouillet was opened to the aristocracy, but very few people who were invited to by Madame de Rambouillet, and it was under the reign of and above all the regency of Queen Maria de Medici. It was the second Italian queen that France had, and we can see here one really wonderful portrait. It is a royal portrait, and Maria is painted by
a powerful portrait.
Yes, it is indeed. It is indeed a powerful. Yes, yes. It is. It is a constellation of. It is a constellation of. It is a constellation of women, and this is a portrait that is in Florence at Palazzo Pitti. It has been painted by Franz Purbus in 1611, and it is one of the official portraits that were commissioned to the painter together with a pandan, with a couple of the other couple of the portrait of Henry I, and both were commissioned to Franz Purbus and were sent to Florence in 1613. And what is striking here is that, she wears a royal costume as queen, and
the symbol is.
And you see, yes, it's a symbol. It is a symbol. How can and it is a symbol, of course, as jewel also means. It conveys this kind of message of power, of course. And as she wears these costumes embroidered with fleur de lis, which is the symbol of, the symbol of the King of France, of course. And what we know about the inventories after the death of Maria de Medici, that she owned among her jewels almost 5,000 pearls. And we know from the inventory that the queen had a myriad of high quality pearls offered her by the king and also by the members of the aristocracy. And she really loved diamonds also and pearls in these portraits. She wears also 300 pearls, as you can see, and this really huge pearls, and also really probably we cannot see in the crown. She wears a crown with a really big diamond. And Maria was the first of the two queens that in the first half of the 17th century was regent for the king in France. And they even if women could not have a sort of a political role in the kingdom, she had the possibility to rule the country. Of course, she was helped by the council of the king, of course, her friend, the prime minister. But anyway, it happened sometimes that women that do not have any, I mean, they are not, they have a political role only by the, how can I say, the
weight that they...
Yes, of course, the historical moments gave them the possibility to rule a country. As I said before, this kind of preciousness, of course, is.
We have also other portraits of powerful wearing. They are wearing like.
Oh yes, no surprises about the fact that how can you build up a tradition of something really powerful? This is Anne of France, who was the second regent during the first half of the 17th century. She was the mother of the Roi Soleil. And she's wearing the same costume. This painting was painted by Rubens in 1622. And you can see the crown is the same, and also the diamond cross and the pearls. Of course, pearls were really a typical female and traditional female attribute to the for women, because it was it seems that they also say in the inventory, I mean, in the inventory also from the jewels of the Medici house, they say that pearls have to be a good pellatura. It means the skin of the pearls, that always has a sort of resemblance with the fair skin of the queen.
And another portrait we have also. Yes, because these portraits were shown in a beautiful catalog from an exhibition in Florence that was epic, and I'm really sad.
Yes, I'm also sad to have missed such a beautiful exhibition. This is the exhibition catalog of this exhibition in 2003 in Florence. And it is very nice because it tells the story about the jewels of the Medici family that we can, how can I say, we can admire them only by the painting, because a lot of them are completely
lost,
disappeared and lost.
Yes, of course.
Yes, they are completely disappeared or
I'm
lost.
wondering all that 5,000 pearls of Maria de Medici. Where have they been shared with all of many of the components of the family, or for other uses? Also, these fantastic.
We love jewels, and we love jewels. We love contemporary jewelry, of course, but it is true that the language of jewels and the genre, I mean, these forms of art, as art jewelry, also the historical one, is incredibly vulnerable, and the delicacy of jewels lies in their inner preciousness, because gold could be melt, and diamonds and pearls and necklaces and rings could be dismantled easily, so they can disappear as quickly as they can, and we will see how. And it is true that if everything contributes in a sort of a visual imagery and a visual vocabulary of a specific time and era, it is true that this kind of objects cannot be considered as a subcategory as applied arts. I mean, if they contribute to giving a complete vision of what was a specific period of time, we have to think that it is art in a way. So, but art and the history of art is made of wonderful wow, and is made also of silences. And because when I speak about the silences of the history of art, I always think to those wonderful anonymous masters who painted, who made beautiful things, and we don't know anything about them except about the what we have in front of our eyes, a painting, for instance, or a wonderful jewel that has been painted and that unfortunately is disappeared. So we have an interesting. This is an interesting portrait, because the person who is portrayed here is the Archduchess of Tuscany, is Maria Maddalena d'Austria. She was a wonderful necklaces and a wonderful pearl necklace, and this painting is by Justus Sustermans, and
we are all in the same years as the portrait we already.
It is dating 1623, so not. It is just 1 year. Yes, it is always contemporary to the previous one, we say. And this is painted by Justus Sustermans, and this is of course another official portrait of the Duchess of Tuscany, And if we look carefully, she wears an incredible diamond that is called the Fiorentino Diamond, which disappeared at the beginning of the 20th century in 1999. We don't know anything, and this was an amazing, I think the biggest diamond in the history. And the Grand Duke of, this is a reconstruction in glass, of course, and it was a yellow one. And this is why we have to thank also paintings, because we know something about the history of jewels, and we have the possibility to admire this kind of works only through the media of painting. And this, of course, is what is called a traditional kind of preciousness, of course. But anyway, it is very interesting also, because it is through different media as a painting that we can know something about jewelry of that time. And at the end of the Medici family in 1743, the necklace of pearls, and as well as the Fiorentino, flew to Vienna in the Habsburg family. And at the very beginning, of the 20th century, we still don't know where the diamond had gone. I mean, it completely disappeared, and this is one of the silences of the history and of the history of the arts.
And another mystery, we can make a comparison with another drawing of a famous jewel. Here we are.
Yes. Now we jump. I know that we jump from France
I know that
to Italy.
You a violence.
Yes. No,
I make you a violence.
No.
From a book to another, from a another thing, but it's also a playful conversation.
Yes, of course. Benedetta, I would really suggest to read the book written by Benedetta Craveri, because they really open a world. I mean, as I say at the very beginning, our conversation is about a sort of constellation of women, and it is a sort of how can I say, in our blue archive, we talk about persuasion, we talk about seduction, we talk about gallantry, and we talk about pearls, and we talk about diamonds. And this necklace was extremely famous at the time, because it was the origin of a really extended scandal at the court of Marie Antoinette. This is l'affaire du collier de la reine, so the queen's necklace affair. This was, I mean, of course, the diamonds were sold, the necklace dismantled, and this is the book. And Benedetta Craveri wrote a really, really nice, lovely book telling the story about the scandal. Yes, and I would like that somebody will translate this book, because
you have to translate. I found that the Age Conversation of Benedetta Craveri is also translated in Spanish of course in French.
Yes.
But this one was never translated in other language, if I'm not.
No. It's not. It has not been translated yet,
Not,
and I really
but we hope
not yet. But we always hope that will be might be a translation. And as you can see, this is a reproduction of the famous necklace. And as I say, it is in a wonderful constellation of royal, noble women. Of course, we cannot. I mean, we had to speak about her. We had to speak about Marie Antoinette. This is one of the picture frame from the Sofia Coppola's movie, and
I hope that our friends will forgive us if we shifted from famous painting, historical painting, portraits, and came to the movie.
I think it is very. I think it is one of the concepts of our conversation, and it is in my conviction, but not only mine. I mean that.
I fully agree with you.
If we assume that everything, as the small history, brings something to the greater history, we have to consider that everything contributes to give an overview of a century, of an era, as contemporary jewelry does today. I mean, so. The scandal of the necklace started in a way in 1685, and was a specific day. It was on August the 15th when the Cardinal de Rohan was arrested in front of the all noblemen in the nobility in the Galerie de Glace in Versailles. It was extremely. It was a sort. It was how.
Like a very.
It was really a shocking. It was a shocking
event.
A shocking event and a shocking moment. Not only for the cardinal, who were sure to have paid this kind of necklace, and because he wanted to regain the favor of the queen, and you see. But anyway, there was a process, and this necklace were created years before by Jacques Bessange and another jeweler, Parisian jeweler, Baumer, for Madame du Barry, who was the mistress of the previous king, Louis XV. Louis the 15th. And unfortunately, he died. So Madame du Barry had to leave Versailles because she was misregarded by Marie Antoinette. And this necklace had to be sold in a way because it was really the value and the entire value of the necklace was almost 2,000 livres, which is I don't know I do not know how many billions now. Anyway, because it is made only by the purest and the finest of diamonds of the finest quality, and it has 17 diamonds, big as nuts, and then they have a sort of festoons, and it covers all the and it is the bodices, and it is amazing. We can see here the reconstruction, which is actually presented at Château de Chevreuil, and here you can see the costumes for the Sophia's Coppola movie, Marie Antoinette. And
that's the perfect suit, the perfect outfit to
to wear such a necklace. Anyway, the scandal was it is striking that something little as a necklace, little and erect, I mean, that was a really expensive necklace. But anyway, it is very striking as jewels that always conveys such a lot of messages. We know that, and especially the one of power, lead to a sort of how can I say, during the process of the Cardinal de Rohan and Jean de la Motte Valois, who was, I mean, the woman, another woman, who created this kind of this kind of affair. I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. Yes, this kind of necklace, anyway, gained such a sort of popularity. Not only because it was there was a party of the Queen, and there was a party of the King, but also because it really have nourished the disagreement of the French people for the Queen. And most of the scholars and historians say that this affair led quite quickly to the French Revolution, because despite the how can I say, the innocence, the so-called proven innocence of the Queen, anyway, a sort of a lot of publication flourished during the time, and the popularity of the Queen was extremely damaged, and
also, Marie Antoinette was she grew up at the court because she was married very young.
Very early, yes,
and she lived like a transformation towards, and the maturity of the time, by the time of the affair of the necklace, and she has already a different approach also to social relations. You teach me about the Trianon that she was looking for a place where to be herself in a way, a kind of way similar to Madame de Rambouillet.
Oh, yes, she had, I mean, now that I look to the picture frame that you posted, we have to say that the Sofia Coppola's movie has a sort of, I mean, it is based on the biography of Marie Antoinette, written by Antonia Fraser. And in the book, she says that she had to grow up all alone in a court that was not, I mean, that was a really a completely different world from the one that she grew up. and she was extremely, her mother, Queen Maria Teresa, was extremely, wrote her a lot of letters telling her how she had to behave as a queen. And of course, because she was concerned because she didn't have any kids. So she had to provide a prince dauphin, a prince, and that could perpetuate the tradition of the monarchy anyway. And when she finally she had the babies, and she retired from the palace of Versailles, and she preferred to live in the Petit Trianon. But anyway, she forgot to how important was the etiquette of Versailles, how important was living there, because she preferred to close herself, and she did not understand that even if it was extremely hard, extremely heavy, and extremely annoying, probably we do not have to forget that all these noblemen and aristocracy was, first of all, extremely annoyed. And what we can admire today, the wonderful gardens and the Queen's Hamlet in Versailles, or the very luxurious palace and things, and all the things that were made at that time, from music and theater, was in a way to how can I say, to take a sort of relief from this kind of annoying way of life.
Anyway, in a certain way, they tried, each of these great women tried to find their way to survive, to react to.
Yes, it was, of course, it was a sort of reaction. But as for Madame de Rambouillet, her personal retreat from the court, in order to live and to open her own salon. I mean, not salon, but anyway, the chambre bleue, the blue room, was a sort of a revolutionary act for two kinds of reasons. Because she finally gave the possibility to women to talk about something that was really to talk about themselves, and to talk about and to talk about women. And she was a patroness. She was a really she was an incredible hostess, and she was a patroness of theater. She was a patroness of arts and letters, of course. And we do not have to forget that the court was something, and the so-called private life in the salon was another one. Also because it gave a sort of it contributed also to the language, to the French language, and to that age of conversation that for almost 2 centuries, it was like a sort of an ideal, as Benedetta Craveri writes in a book. And she opened this worldly society, as she called this kind of age of conversation. She writes that these books tell the story of an ideal, and the last one by which the French nobility of the Ancien Regime recognized itself collectively, an idea that countered the logic of force and the brutality of instinct with an art of living together based on seduction and reciprocal pleasures. But this kind of pleasure and gallantry and was a sort of had no theological backing. It was a small group united in some aesthetical and ethical and secular project, and it is extremely important for that moment, because
they consolidate this art of living. It was like to build something different.
Yes. On the contrary, Marie Antoinette wanted to retreat from the court, because she was completely. She didn't want to meet the nobility, who was precisely her role. And during the scandal, the affair of the necklace, her popularity was her popularity arose, but in a negative way.
Yes.
In a negative way. We can see in this. Painting of Mademoiselle Vigée-Lebrun. She holds a rose. And a rose was also the gift that this woman, Mademoiselle d'Oliva, in the affair of the necklace, was the gift that she offered to the Cardinal de Rohan as a sort of sign of regained favor. But in a way, the Queen didn't know anything. And if we come back to if we come back to the necklace, also this fabulous necklace is completely disappeared, because
the meeting between the cardinal and the Queen was
completely dismantled, and the diamond
around this.
It was completely
sign of the rose.
Yes, it was completely dismantled, and the diamonds were sold in the black markets in Paris and in London, and
so the necklace was faded away.
Yes, as the big diamonds of the Duchess of Tuscany, and this is how. And exactly, if we assume that, and also this concept of visual imagery of a century, we can see Glenn Close. This is a picture frame from Liaison Dangereuse by Stephen Frears, which is really, really a lovely movie. And on the other hand, we have one of the most famous mistresses of all time, which is Madame de Pompadour. And you can see that
fabulous portrait.
Yes, it is a famous portrait which is in Munich, and you can see how it is easy to look at the past to recreate something, and it is really, really lovely.
I think that from these two images what I feel is the extraordinary will of these women. They are both of these images transmit this effective of the characters of these women. This is, as you said, the imagery of the time, and maybe we can shift towards a contemporary of the contemporary epoch of today. And you suggest a completely different vision of other powerful characters in our days.
Another Madame de Rambouillet.
a contemporary Madame de Rambouillet.
A contemporary Madame de Rambouillet.
She forgives us. For this definition, we send a nice greeting to the responsible of this collection.
Yes. When I approached the world of contemporary jewelry more than 10 years ago, and I started, at the very beginning, it was a mere ecstatical approach. I mean, I really love the pieces, and I want to own them. The one, of course, that I could afford. But anyway, I was extremely interested, not only in the pieces, but in people. And I wanted to study, and I want to deepen the subject matter. So I started reading this book, and this is one of my cherished books, because it really, as Madame de Rambouillet opened Chambre Bleue, this opened a world, which is a world apart, and the world of contemporary jewelry.
A very colorful world.
Yes, it is a very colorful world. But if we assume the concept that everything, crafts, jewels, and fashion creates and contributes to this, again, visual vocabulary, so we have to think that also contemporary jewelry contributes to the visual culture of contemporary art. We can think about what is contemporary. I mean, and contemporary art as contemporary jewelry are almost the same. I mean, they are form of arts. They are languages. And they
register
yes, of course.
The time.
We cannot define as an undercategory, a subcategory as applied arts, as painting or sculpture. Also, contemporary jewelry has its own peculiarity. I mean,
it has her queens.
Of course, the queens. Yeah. Helen. I mean, of course. And
this is Helen Dratt.
This is Helen Dratt wearing a fabulous necklace by Babetto. I think this picture was taken during her last birthday in November. And she is undoubtedly a queen. To me, she is a sort of protective deity of the contemporary jewelry. And I say this because I had the opportunity and the chance to interview her 3 years ago when she was appointed as a selector for the Premio Covinelli. And AGC, Associazione Gioiello Contemporaneo e Fondazione Cominelli, invited her as a selector of the Cominelli Award, and we have the time to talk together about how she started that collection and which were the criteria of collections. And what it is striking is that what I always thought about the fact that I wanted to know more about the artist who made the piece that I own was was the same aim that Helen had, because in another wonderful book that I own, which is such a sort of Bible, which is Ornament as Art. It is a Bible because it is huge as a Bible. It is here really.
You have the reader
Yes,
on
yes.
on your
Yes,
desk.
it is in my book. It is in my book rest here near to me, because really so close to me. And there is a really nice interview by Cindy Strauss to Helen Dratt. And to me, Helen is like it is like Madame de Rambouillet. I mean, she felt that was the moment during the 70s to know, to collect, to know something more. And she always said the knowledge of the individual, to have a dialogue with the artist. And she was interested in the history and of the objects, but also she loved depth. And to me, it is really important, because if I compare her to Madame de Rambouillet, she opened really a world, not only a window, and not only a brew room. It is really a huge room.
Because a new language for the observer to
yes.
let the observer understand and interpret what artists conceived.
Yes, and if we both the book Jewelry of Our Time and this one, Ornament as Art, are to me really cherished book, and books that I always open and read and look and admire to the pieces. And they also, I mean, they provided me the idea that contemporary jewelry is like contemporary art. I mean, because as contemporary art does, contemporary jewelry introduce you to the territory of empathy, but also it is open, flexible. It conveys, it talks about large subjects in really small objects, and this flexibility, this open field expresses both personal and collective topics and contents. And there is no way, to me, it is art to cura. I mean, no applied art. Bienvenue once said, "I do not wear jewelry. I wear works of art." And the lesson and the what Helen did, opening the gallery, and also giving part of the collection to the Houston Fine Arts Museum.
Yes, we can browse. I posted now the link of the entire collection that I think it summarizes the works that are published here on the Ornament as Art, and on the previous book, the that is of 1995, so was a great compendium of the starting from the 70s to the 90s. We can share just some icons of this tremendous, of this amazing collection.
Yes, it is an amazing collection. This is his bucket.
I wish to start with this piece by Gijs Bakker, because I think it is like a trade union from
between
the pieces.
Those necklaces and the necklace of the queen and this necklace.
And this necklace really is just the photograph of a necklace, of the precious necklace of the 18th century. It is called the Pforzheim 1780. And it is really what from the 80s onward, many artists have proposed, like to propose just an imagery of what jewelry was in the past, no? What
Yes, as the big contemporary art does. I mean, also contemporary jewelry is made with everything and speaks about everything. So we do not have to forget this. I mean, it is a mirror of time. It is a mirror of a sort of a lot of meanings. I mean, it is not only a luxury commodity. I mean, it is something as during the history of art is full of these examples. But jewels convey a lot of messages, not only the messages of power, of wealth, but also
a different way to interpret preciousness, like in this case.
And this is
of course, is also this one is by Gijs Bakker, and this is the preciousness of the construction. I don't know if it is a word to rebuild a flower in its little part, its precious parts.
Yes, of course. How can you wear a flower? I mean, it is something that is extremely important about contemporary in the contemporary field. It is the fact that it is something that it speaks about us in the present and makes question for the future, and it looks at past and it looks at present, and at the same times it is something that it asks you something for the future, and I think it is really really important. And one of the other elements that emerges from the interview of Helen Drath in the book Ornament as Art, as the fact that she pursued also quality. I mean, pieces have to they have to have something, and that's something that je ne sais quoi. It's, I think, what is called quality. And we look at these pieces made during the 80s, and they are still contemporary. I mean, they are.
This piece is 30 years old, almost 28 years, 29 years
yes,
old.
Because I think it is 1992, the bracelet. Yeah. And this is a sculpture. And if you put your arm, it is a wonderful bracelet. I mean, and yes, when people ask me what is it to do, try to give a definition of contemporary jewelry, I always say it is a complex system because there are a lot of people who act in this stage, and there are artists, there are gallerists, curators, teachers, historians, and this is, and
Also,
this has another kind of preciousness, another kind of préciosité, which is not literally one, but it has another. The meaning of preciousness changed. This is Robert Baines. This is the filigree 2.0.
Continuous dialogue between the past and the present
and future.
So, here is really clear.
And everything contributes also to that visual vocabulary, that visual culture, that it is one of the concept of our conversation. And this is why we cannot, we have to think that this is art. This is an art language. It is a form of art.
The study and the cherries of the past with the contemporary materials, like the red part is an aluminum can.
Yes, of course.
But it is a unique form and unique structure with the past, with the old reproduction of the granulations and the traditional techniques. It's really an intuition to put together the two languages.
Yes. For many people, contemporary art as contemporary jewelry also, they always think as a 19th century thinking that we can understand easily by what we feel. In front of the work of art. But to me it isn't true, because both contemporary jewelry as a painting of the 14th century or the 15th century required a good level of knowledge. You are obliged to be informed. And this is, as for Baines, for instance, it is an example. He studied the ancient technique of filigree, and he completely, he didn't change the technique of filigree, but the attitude. So this flexibility, this fluidity, I think, is the one that is the same of contemporary art, of contemporary painting in a way. And as for the second necklace you posted, the one of Hiroko Sato, Janowski is, well,
it's the
elegance of a Japanese. Yes, it is made of paper. Yes, and this also is extremely important, because in contemporary jewelry is made of everything and thinks about everything. So, and
another kind of preciousness that
it is really another kind
of the times, respectful of history of the different epochs.
Yes,
but it can be understood by contemporary generations. I think, and this can easily put on, and this is my hazard to find a portrait of Madame de Rambouillet that is completely free and waiting for a contemporary necklace.
It is true that she needs a necklace, of course.
And the powerful one.
Very. I mean, I'm very. How can I say? I'm very sad because we do not know who painted this portrait. I mean, another silent
portrait.
It is another silent portrait, but anyway, she still lives, and she was extremely. I mean, what is striking, what I really love is the fact that women are really seismograph of time, even if we during history we didn't have the possibility to raise our voice. We did it. And
single barriers.
Yes.
In our small archive, we are trying to investigate all these characters and maybe feel something about them and learn from them. I certainly learned from you tonight.
I mean, what was really striking that she was really she received her guests in this ruelle, which is really really a small space between the part between the bed and the wall. And she received there, and she really, she was really a revolutionary woman. And sometimes,
I remember,
sometimes in the silence of rooms that there are some really incredible changes. And,
I remember that in the movie of Sofia Coppola, the Marie Antoinette, I was very impressed by this fact when she became the queen, and in the morning when she was waken up by her maids, she opened her eyes and saw all the court, all the ladies, all the noble women of the court was there in that space from the end of the bed.
And there was a sort of different. There was a hierarchy. And of course, there were all the different members of the family were allowed to give her something. And before were the blood princes. But this was, this was a tradition that Louis XIV, the Roi Soleil, introduced, because he lived publicly. I mean, in a way, in Versailles, he lived publicly.
After Madame de
everything was under the eyes of the community. This is why the nobility really not appreciated the fact that Marie Antoinette decided to go away from the court, because she had to do that. And this is really incredibly striking. Yes.
So I hope that this conversation has gave fun to our friends, and maybe suggest us, or because we are so excited that we already thought other episodes about this in this style, this kind of a personal style in making this conversation from the past to the contemporary. And I know that I already gave you some inputs that I say, oh, Nichka, please, we can really. You show me some really exciting and precious paintings of. This period is really rich in imagery, in the representations of this kind of work that is so far from us, but it's still really fascinating. The fascination of going inside these epochs.
It is fascinating. It is really, as for Renaissance. I mean, as for Renaissance also, but the 17th century in France, as I deepen in my readings, is an extremely fascinating moment. It is bloody fascinating anyway, because. We do not have to forget. We do not have to forget.
We just look at a side of the situation.
Yes, we really
battles and crimes
and killings and really savage seduction also. I mean, we do not have to forget. I mean, at Madame de Rambouillet, in the Chambre Bleue, at the Hotel de Rambouillet, they played gallantry, not love. Gallantry was allowed, not love, and everything was easy over there. It was really a world apart, and it was for very few people. It was for very few people. But anyway, it is a really an extremely interesting.
I don't know if there's any question from our.
I don't know if everybody is mute.
Some of the that are sending all their appreciation and greetings from Israel, from UK, from Cyprus. If you have any question to post, please let us know here in the chat. Otherwise, I think we made a good 1 hour and almost and a half of conversation that is flew away. I posted some links about the things we have, the reference about the movies, the collections, the books. But in any moment, if you wish to contact us to have more information or any curiosity, I think we can give you some other updates. And really, thank you so much, Nichka. I wish to send a virtual hug to you and also to everybody was connected or will connect because this conversation is registered, so I hope anyone will enjoy it later. And please let us know if you enjoyed these ones, if it is okay, because we will think toward the next episode.
Thanks to everybody. And
thank you. Really. Ciao a tutti. Stay safe. Stay safe, and look for the age of conversation. I think it will be a nice reading and also nice to apply.
Thank you.
Up with conversations. See you soon.
Ciao,
Bye bye.
arrivederci.